With 6 months to the MPP's presidential primaries, the race to lead the opposition party heats up, with minority MPs jostling to pitch camps behind emerging frontrunners.
And I am so happy in terms of the group that have declared support for me from Parliament. Now amounts to just over 60 members of Parliament. And you know we have 88 members of Parliament. And so that tells you that a very significant number of members of Parliament have declared their support for me.
And tonight, with open endorsement and subtle internal campaigns underway, we ask whether it flouts the new disciplinary rules set to ensure fairness and neutrality. Here, on Top Story, brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies. Now, the race to lead the opposition New Patriotic Party appears to be heating up following the announcement by the party leadership of early presidential primaries. The General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Kojo Frimpong, this week announced January 31, 2026 as a date for electing its 2028 flag bearer. More party stalwarts are tonight declaring their intention to contest in the presidential primaries. The latest to join the fray is former Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, who declared his intent to join the race. Yes.
With humility, conviction, and a resolute heart, I, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, declare my intent to run for the flag bearership of the New Patriotic Party when nominations are officially opened by the party, and eventually, with your support, become the President of Ghana. This declaration is above all a call to action to every Ghanaian who dares to believe that our country can be better, stronger, and more united. I'm offering myself as a servant leader with a mindset to transform our nation. This is a response to a lifelong call, a call to serve my party and my country with integrity, vision, and resolve. It's also a response to the many voices from party faithfuls, religious leaders, youth groups, and everyday citizens across the length and breadth of the country who believe that now is the time for a new kind of leadership.
So Dr. Yao Edichum joins the ranks of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Ken Ejapon, who have already declared their intent to contest. Earlier today, some minority MPs held a closed-door meeting with the party's 2024 flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to pledge their support for his potential bid to lead the party again in the 2028 general elections. Dr. Bawumia said more than 60 out of the party's 88 MPs in Parliament have declared their support for him, adding that the members of Parliament control the constituencies.
You've had a closed-door meeting with some MPs from your party. What was the conversation about?
Well, thank you very much. This morning, I've had a visit from our members of Parliament. I think that it was a very happy visit. It was a courtesy call, and it's a call to declare support for me. And I am so happy in terms of the group that have declared support for me from Parliament. Now amounts to just over 60 members of Parliament. And you know we have 88 members of Parliament. And so that tells you that a very significant number of members of Parliament have declared their support for me. I just want to use this opportunity to thank all of them. The leader of the group here is Amprachum, who coordinated this, the MP for Mampong. And I believe that this is going to be very, very important because the members of Parliament, as you know, control the constituencies to a large extent. And I'm very, very happy for exactly what they have done today. It's a strong show of support, and I thank them and I thank God for this strong show of support. And off we go. There's a lot of hard work to be done so that we can help the party and help the country. And I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you very, very much.
So that was the 2024 flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia there. Now, one of the MPs who showed up at the Dr. Bawumia's campaign office was the MP for Asin South, Reverend Ntim Kojo. His former boss at the Education Ministry, Dr. Gyasi Edichum, has also declared his intention to lead the NPP. But Ntim Kojo says he prefers the former vice president to lead the party. Listen to him.
Our support for him. As a matter of fact, there are a number of other members of parliament who, some are out of jurisdiction, some are also indisposed, some also have some prior commitment for which they didn't join us. But the number overall would have been much more than the over 60 that you saw today. As they were entering, you saw them and you captured them. This goes to indicate the overwhelming majority support in the base who have expressed confidence in renewing the mandate of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to lead the party into the 2028 election. And I think that this decision is very sound. It is sound and it's consistent with the voter behavior of the Ghanaian. Looking up from our fourth Republican democracy, all the presidents that have held, who have become presidents, have had to go through elections 2 times, 3 times, even in the case of President Mahama 4 times. And so you had President J. Kufuor going in 96. It didn't work out. The party renewed the mandate for him because it fed into the voter behavior of Ghana. He won in 2000 subsequently. And same for President Kufuor. When he attempted the first time in 2008, he lost. He tried again, it didn't work out. It was a 3rd attempt that worked out for him. Even President Mahama the first time was an outlier because there was that, overwhelming sympathy. The whole country was mourning. His Excellency President Atta Mills had not been able to serve his full term, and that was just sympathetic that they allowed the vice president to continue. So that was a different case. So the Ghanaian population votes this way, that they want to see you on the ballot, on the presidential ballot, particularly if you are a contestant for any of the major parties, NDC, MPP. They want to vote for a candidate who is experienced, a candidate who has sympathy, a candidate who has tried before.
Well, the Gusau MP, Hassan Tampuli, dispelled claims that the presidential primaries of the party has been scheduled to be held early in order to better the chances of the 2024 flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He says the elections will bring leadership to the MPP.
How does electing our flag bearer on 31st January 2026 give an advantage to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia?
That's what your critics are saying.
And that's what I'm asking. So how does that become an advantage for him? Because the delegates that we have, they're the same delegates that we use in 2024. We use the same delegates in 2020, 2016, 2012. So it's the same number of people that we are using. I don't know why, there is some kind of fear and panic, within some ranks of the party. These are people who have been working for the party for 2 or 3 decades. And they are the same people that we are using. In any event, some of the aspirants have already started going around. Who are they campaigning to? Who are they campaigning to? Are they not meeting people? They are meeting people and they are campaigning to them. So definitely, it's the same people that we are working with. And I don't think that it gives anybody any advantage. What it is that there is some amount of, vacuum that all of us have come to realize. Because as we speak right now, we don't know who is the leader of the party. Is it the former President Kufuor, or former President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, or the former flag bearer, or the national chairman, or the general secretary, or the minority leader? Who?
So who is now your leader?
So there's a kind of vacuum. If you have early Congress to elect the flag bearer of the party, then that vacuum is filled.
Also, that's the MP for Gusheu, the Hassan Tampuli, talking about people's reaction to this particular announcement of it favoring Dr. Baumia. But let me bring in Deputy Head of the Political Desk here, Joy News, Winston Amwa, for more analysis on this particular matter. Winston, first of all, I want us to look at what we know about those who have declared so far to contest the flag bearership. Hello, Winston. Are you with me?
Yes, Brace, I can hear you.
I wanted to help us understand those who have already declared for the presidency or to run for the flag bearership. What do we know about them? We know the names, but actually, what do they bring to the table?
Well, Brace, you have Kenneth Japan, who contested in the last election. He's talked about the fact that he's a right person. He's a very patriotic person. He's honest. He's disciplined. And he's indicated that if you go into a race and you're rejected, you mustn't be brought back. And I'm sure this wouldn't be the first time you hear people make that point, because whenever there's been primaries in the NPP as far back as 1998, when I remember 1998 at the time, J.H. Mensah contesting J.A. Kufuor, he made it very clear that if you take a product or produce to the market and it's not purchased, you don't have to take it back. But of course, we know what happened. Now, we've also heard Dr. Yawase Educhum has indicated that, his track record, his performance at the Education Ministry would endear him to the party's delegates and, by extension, Ghanaians. You've heard Brian Champon indicating that for him the most important thing is to create jobs, is to build infrastructure. He's talked about the fact that, the country, Ghana, should be able to produce enough to feed its population and improve upon its infrastructure. But you see, Brace, the NPP is going into this particular election because it's the belief of the NPP that at this point, the party lacks leadership. You just heard Hassan Tampuli making that point. They say they need a formidable opposition leader and a formidable voice in opposition. It is also the understanding of majority of NPP members that what they are currently facing, all the discussions here and all the infighting would come to an end if they elect a flag bearer early. And that's why they want to elect a flag bearer on the 31st of January 2026. As to who wins the day, as the party's delegates will determine.
Okay. Now, people have already said that if you look at the decision to say let's elect our flag bearer on 31st January 2026, it's quite early. But people have said this will favor one camp. I mean, if you look at it critically, is that what it is?
Well, all of this will be clear after the party's national conference, because now there are discussions about increasing the polling station executive by 2, and so that would mean having some 80,000 people becoming delegates after the national conference. If that is the case, then you ask the question, how would the party get that? Would the party that have to go through the polling station elections? Yes, they have to go through the polling station elections. If the party goes through the polling station elections, then that actually opens it up for people to determine, it opens up for the party to elect new crop of persons. If the party, and you've had discussions about the polling station elections being held in December. If that is the case, then it may not favor any person. If this album is maintained, you can have a point and say, okay, if the album is maintained, this is the album that brought in Dr. Baumia. And so this would look like an album that seeks to favor Dr. Baumia. But, you can also not rule out the fact that some of the delegates could change their minds. Okay? And so it's give and take situation. If the party maintains the same album, those who make the case that it favors Dr. Baumia will be very right and say, well, this is the album that brought him. So if we use this album, he's likely to win. There are those who would also say, well, this may be the album that brought him, but there are those who have indicated that at the time, many may have been whipped in line, and so this will be the real test of his popularity within the party. Again, once the National Council has accepted it, if conference adopt same, the other aspirants would have no choice than to go to the election with what the conference decides. It is only after the elections that we would know. I will be able to confirm. But if you ask me, if the current album is maintained, this is the album that gave Dr. Bawumia some 61%. So it puts him in some kind of an advantage. Okay, it could put him in an advantage, but we would know on the day of the elections.
Again, what's the analysis, or what does the impact of these over 60 MPs who have gone to Dr. Bawumia to say, we will support you in the primaries?
Well, these MPs certainly, when a party is in a position, MPs have a lot of say, and so, you know, they are representatives of over 60 constituencies. That would give Dr. Bawumia some kind of mileage going into the presidential primaries. But it doesn't in itself show that you're going to win an election. Okay? You can have these persons saying, I support you. But these are 60 persons. They would have to convince people. So it's how they're able to convince the delegates that matters the most. I know that, Dr. Bawumia has been, even prior to this, I'd met, some of the NPP MPs who lost in election 2024. He had spoken to them. He had urged them to, consider standing again, because the belief is that many of these people have following, and their following would go a long way in helping his own cause. But like I keep saying all the time, Brace, look, elections, and after the election, things can change. Okay? The very moment someone gets into the booth to vote, things can change. So let's wait. But to be fair, if you consider that the NPP has about 88 members of parliament or so, and if over 60 truly went there to declare their support for Bawumia, it puts him in a good position going into, the presidential elections. But of course, the truth also is that there are 276 constituencies. These are 60 members of parliament. It's less than a quarter of the total number of, constituencies. So that in itself, you could look at it and say, well, it's just about a quarter, less than a quarter of it. So don't be too excited until the D-Day.
I'm grateful to you. Winston Amwa is the deputy head of the political desk here at Joy News. But it's a good time for me to bring in Dominic Nitiwol. He's MP for Bimbilla and a former defense minister. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us. But let me confirm whether you were part of the over 60 MPs who went to Dr. Bawumia this morning.
Thank you very much. Good evening, listeners. Yes, I was actually part of the MPs who have been holding regular meetings. I think 2 weeks ago we held a meeting in Dr. Bawumia's office to give him our support. And today we again invited him into our meeting to formally let him know that all these MPs that he sees willingly, individually, have come to let him know that we believe he's the person who can lead us to victory in 2028.
How many were you?
So we were about 60 MPs who went to this meeting today. The last time were about 42 MPs, and the number keeps growing every time. I believe that in 2 weeks' time, when we meet again, the number will further increase.
But these are 60 MPs representing 60 constituencies. There are a lot more that were not part of your meeting. How does that make you feel that this by this meeting it gives your preferred candidate that advantage over the others?
First of all, there are 28 MPs who were not part of the meeting, not because they don't like the vice president, the former vice president, or they support another person. We also accept that there are even MPs who themselves are running or have indicated that they will run. So obviously, Dr. Baumia cannot get 100% or even 95% because there are many more MPs who are running, and they have supporters. But we as MPs have come to say that we believe this is the best. We're not saying just because we are supporting him, because of that he's going to win the elections now. We are taking one step after the time. But if you are a presidential candidate and the representatives of the people, 3/4 of them decide to say that they support you, you have one leg already moving towards victory.
Okay, hold on for me. Let me bring in Dixon Adumako Kisi, his aide to Brian Achampon, who has also declared his intention. I mean, he said he's sending people out there to conduct a research for him. I'm grateful to you, Dixon Adumako Kisi, for joining. Has that research team completed its work? And what then is the decision by Brian Achampon?
Good evening. The name is Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi. Just for clarification.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the correction, sir. Yeah.
And two key issues. I think just recently there was a NEC meeting which, as it is, put out a date for the presidential elections or primaries. Though we had reservations, I think during the meeting it was made known. Subsequent to that, we think that once the party has set a date, we'll work within that. However, we are of the opinion that strengthening the base and doing it from a down-up approach would have been in the interest of a stronger party.
I get it, but I wanted to find out from you, has that research work you put out completed its work? And what then is the final decision of Mr. Brian Achampon? Is he contesting now?
I think we intend to make a statement next week. And I will not do a preemptive statement, but I think the feedback is very positive.
Okay. You've been a member of parliament before. Does the 60 MPs who went to Baumia, Dr. Baumia, put any fear in your camp?
Was it less than 30 or 60?
It's around 60. That's the number that we've been fed with.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as far as, I mean, we are unperturbed, very key thing. And we're more interested in doing something very different from what we've always been doing. And I'm actually surprised because we were of the opinion that the 9th parliamentarians will not, in the interest of the party, make a declaration of such, because of what we are hoping to achieve for the greater party. So I must admit that, this noise, or as it is, statement of declaration is shocking for me or surprising because in my discussions with their leadership at some point, it was very clear in my mind that the 9th parliamentarians will not, as it is, make a declaration. So
your camp is disappointed in this move?
No, I'm just surprised because in the interest of the party, the greater party, we were of the opinion that the 9 parliamentarians will conduct themselves, not necessarily neutral, but will not go public.
I'm grateful to you, Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi. Let me bring in Stephen Amoa, Dr. Stephen Amoa. He's a member, campaign management team in charge of strategy for the Ken Japan camp. Doc, I mean, this is what we're hearing. Over 60 MPs went to Dr. Baumia. Does it put any fear in the Canadian Japan camp?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Thank you very much. My regards to our listeners. And thank you for this opportunity. It is extremely interesting and funny. You saw the numbers that were at the place around. Just go and look at it again, whether the number will be up to even 30. And 2, all those who went there did not necessarily go there because they support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That is not true. Even there were some MPs who did not go. That I believe they also support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You see, this is internal election. Let's stop the propaganda and focus on issues that will actually illustrate who has the support at the base. The same day, today, over 260 former MDCs and DCs, all of them came and met Honorable Ken Ohene-Japon today. I can tell you about 90% of such a large number support.
But you are casting doubt over someone's number, but you want people to believe your number you're putting out.
Oh, they will send the pictures. We have their names. They wrote their names and their numbers. We can send to you. And mind you, the first speaker who spoke, who might have been one of our brothers and friends, we are all together. They want to do it in a peaceful manner. If they were not afraid, how come they are panicking and pushing? Let's do top, bottom up. Let's do this, that. They know Honorable Ken has won this election. He's going to unify this party. He's going to win for the MPP come 2020. They know. In Parliament, go and check. There are other people who are being even intimidated and blackmailed, and they are there. Most of them went there, they support Ken. Some support Brian. Some support Honorable Adichum. So even look at the number.
Who's blackmailing them?
Oh, some of the supporters from other camps, especially the first timers, but they are resolute, they are very resilient, and they are going to vote and support Honorable Ken.
How many are they? How many are they?
I will not lie to you. Everybody knows Teka will never lie. I can't give you a very definite figure, but trust me, most of the MPs support Honorable Ken, and they are quiet, and they are not making noise. So what they are talking about, the game is just about to be started. Look, all over, I tell you, we'll win Greater Accra, we'll win Ashanti region, we'll win Central region, we'll win Volta region, we'll win Western region, Brown for 50-50, Northern region 40-60. We'll win. It's Eastern region that we're here to. You will see what will happen.
I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to you, Dr.
It's a big pleasure.
For joining us. Let me bring in Dr. John Osai-Kwapong. But just before, Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the MPP. Haruna, what is the party doing to bring sanity? We've seen that this person says I stand here, this one says I am here. What is the party doing to sanitize it?
Good evening, Kojo, Bruce. And good evening to your cherished listeners. And I don't know those on the panel for this particular discussion. I say good evening to all of them. The party has issued a statement indicating the decision that was made by the National Council per a motion that was moved and adopted by Council for presidential primaries to be done. In every presidential primaries or any parliamentary primaries or any elections in the party, we come out with the rules of the game, the elections that is being conducted. And it is very indicative that in July, when we finish with the Congress on the 19th, we'll be issuing the directive for the elections and opening nominations for the presidential primaries that will be conducted on the 31st of
So for now, there's nothing you can do.
Before then, we have rules. We have issued rules. The National Party at the National Council, we were asked to make sure that we crack the whip. We ensure that there is sanity within the party. There is also discipline within the party. We are carefully monitoring the airways. The General Secretary is taking some certain note, and I can give you the assurance that we will be able to sanitize the environment and make sure that the party persons, senior members of the party, and other communicators of the party, and supporters or potential supporters of candidates who have expressed interest to pick nominations when they are open to follow the guidelines.
I'm grateful to you. Dr. John Osai-Kwapong is Democracy and Development Fellow, CDD Ghana. Doc, what do you think the party must do now that we've seen these clear divisions within the rank and file of the party? Hello, do I still have Dr. John Osai-Kwapong on the line? Doc, I want to find out from you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Good, I can hear you now, yes.
Yes, so good evening to you, good evening to your listeners. For me, I don't think at this early stage I would classify this as disunity within the rank and file of the party. It's a presidential primary. Each and every member of the party, whether they are a party executive, whether they are a regular member, whether they are a member of parliament or not, are free to choose whoever they want to support. Yes, giving the stature, perhaps the weight that an MP would carry over, or sort of the influence that an MP can have, you may want to say that they can sort of hold back and not make their support public. But some of them have, and that's part of the intra-party democratic process. People are free to pick and choose sides. For me, the question of the unity would come in when the primary is over. And that would largely depend on how the primaries go, how both all the contestants and their supporters, how they conduct themselves during the primary, how far they carry their competitive spirit in the things they say about each other, and if there are grievances leading to and after a winner is declared, how the party manages it. That, for me, is what is very critical to the party's unity going into 2028, and not necessarily at this early stage in terms of who wants to support who. That, for me, it comes with the territory.
Okay.
Definitely, people are going to choose sides.
All right. Yeah. I'm grateful to you, Dr. John Osai Kwapon. He's Democracy and Development Fellow at CDD Ghana. That's all on Top Story, brought to you by Telecel. Connecting Energies. Up next is Newsnight.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Newsnight. This news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, Love 99.5 in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Coming up tonight, Electoral Commission fights back allegations of procurement breaches in the award of over 6 million cedis contract for reprinting of leaked presidential and parliamentary ballot papers on the eve of the 2024 general elections.
We had to withdraw ballots for the eastern and central regions. We had to go back to the same organization that permitted us to engage these printing houses. So as far as we are concerned, there was no breach of the procurement law.
We have details as the EC says they are yet to receive police assurance to conclude the Ablekuma North parliamentary results.
We haven't escalated it beyond the police because in my response, I indicated the police said they were getting advice. So we are waiting for them to write to us based on the advice for us to proceed.
Also tonight, Coalition Against Illegal Mining unleashes intense pressure on government, demanding immediate investigation and swift prosecution of perpetrators involved in the assault on Minerals Development Fund administrator.
To quote her, that machination was perpetuated by the police command. We ask that police commander be interdicted and investigated and punished. And when these punishments are done, the police should not just hide them under their...
More as they demand immediate prosecution of politically exposed persons implicated in illegal mining activities.
we demand, one, that immediate investigations into the case of Honorable Oscar Labi, MP for our win, and the chiefs that have accused him that he has counter-accused. And these two chairpersons of Axim, constituency chairpersons of Axim and Dunkwao.
Coming up in business.
Some oil marketing companies drop fuel prices at the pumps again as they respond to market competition.
And in sports, fresh off the FA Cup triumph, Asante Kotoko promises plans for major changes to the playing squad ahead of their return to the CAF Confederations Cup.
And later tonight, mixed reactions greet DVLA's decision to impose fines on vehicle owners for a raft of infractions, including debt or torn car seats and excessive exhaust emissions.
You can wash
the vehicle, but the moment you move it, it gets dirty again. If you meet me at Amasaman and you say you are fining me 225 Ghana cedis for that, it just doesn't make sense.
We'll hear from some of the drivers who say government should rather focus on fixing Ghana's deplorable roads, which, according to them, are unfit for their vehicles. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi, we have details of these and many other stories coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Small money day, big money day, way too much money day. Telecel too much money promo drop. If you dial *500#, then join them. For the Telecel too much money promo inside, you will win 100 Ghana cedis cash for the daily draws, 20,000 Ghana cedis for the weekly draws, then 1.2 million Ghana cedis for the grand draw inside. That be 1.2 million Ghana cedis. You for just reload airtime, then get points wey fit make you win. Make you dial *500# or go the Telecel Play app top. Then book inside riders give the Telecel too much money promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo will be NLA way they regulate them for the Caritas Lottery platform top.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana maga with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana kron kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
At DSTV, we listen to what our customers want. That's why we've cooked something big for you. From now to 31st July, pay your subscription and get an instant upgrade to the next higher package for free. Enjoy the best of drama, awesome entertainment for the kids, reality shows, epic Ghanaian talent, family fun, and the FIFA Club World Cup. Pay with *759# and get upgraded instantly. Terms and conditions apply. DSTV, your home of entertainment.
It's time to tarry and tarry again. Are you ready for Stand in a Gap? It's that time of the year where we gather and pray for revival, miracles, and breakthroughs. Stand in the Gap, 48 hours non-stop prayer. Join us tarry in prayer, by prayer, through prayer, as we wait upon the Lord from Thursday 26 to Saturday 28 June, starting 6 p.m. at the Prayer Factory, Jolu, next to Allied Heights. Leading this charge will be our global lead pastor, Gideon Danso, Ben Dogu, Ampia Kofi, John Hanna, Matthew Thompson, Bradley Knight, William McDowell, Nathaniel Bassi, Victoria Orenzi, Dunsin Oyinka, Joe Metal, Ankulato, Sumisola Agbebi, EWC Live. At Stand in the Gap 2025, burdens will be lifted and the heaven will open. Don't come alone, bring everyone. We have free transportation and we are leaving no one behind. For more information, kindly contact 055 100,002. There's a testimony with your name on it. Don't miss it as we gather for Stand in the Gap, brought to you by Empowerment Worship Center, where God lives.
Hello again. Let's begin tonight as the Electoral Commission has rejected accusations of negligence and causing financial loss to the state in the reprinting of leaked ballot papers on the eve of the 2024 general elections. Well, the Commission, 6 days to the December 7th elections, announced the leakage of ballot papers from one of the printing houses. Well, the EC subsequently recalled both the parliamentary and presidential ballot papers of the Eastern and Western regions and awarded contracts to 2 other printing houses, Backpress and InnoLink, for a reprint. Appearing before Parliament on the matter, Deputy Commissioner in charge of Corporate Services, Dr. Bosman Asari, revealed the 2 contracts cost the Commission over 6 million Ghana cedis.
I will start by saying yes. Contracts have been awarded for the printing and supplying of ballot papers since the 2024 general elections. And we've awarded contracts for the following statutory elections since the December 7, 2024 elections. Council of States at a cost of 4,650 cedis, 24 pesos. The award was on 23rd January 2025. The elections took place on 11 February 2025. Ghana Medical and Dental Council. The cost was 45,132 Ghana cedis and 1 pesos. The date of award, 13th March 2025. The elections took place on 21st March 2025. District Assembly elections and by-elections in Nkranza North and Nkranza South districts. The cost, 352,163 cedis and 89 pesos. The date of award of the contract, 10th March 2025. The elections took place on 13th May 2025. Unit Committee elections in Nkranza North and Nkranza South. Cost, 173,040 cedis, 7 pesos. The award, the date of award, 10th March 2025. The elections took place on 13th May 2025. Then the 2024 general elections, presidential, the cost, 3,621,281 cedis and 30 pesos. The date of award of the contract, 24th December 2024. And this was for the 7th December elections, the reprinting of ballots for the Eastern and Western regions. The next one, 2024 general elections, parliamentary. The cost, 2,442,329 cedis and 59 pesos. The date of award, 24th December 2024. For the 7th December 2024 general parliamentary elections for reprinting of ballots for the Eastern and Western regions. Mr. Chairman, the first 4 are in relation to elections the Commission conducted in 2025. The last two relates to the reprinting of ballots for the 7th December 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections for the Eastern and Western regions.
Right, so that's the Deputy Commissioner in charge of Corporate Services, Dr. Bosman Asari, speaking a while ago on the floor of Parliament. Let's stay in the House and speak to my colleague James Aveji, who has been there all day. James, first talk to us about the objection of the Majority Whip, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakpo, to the Deputy Commissioner when he appeared before Parliament.
So, Ken, this question was in the name of the Majority Whip, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakpo. And when he took the ground to ask the question, he indicated to the Speaker that the indication he gets is that the EC boss herself, Jean Mensah, for some reasons, could not appear before the House. And so the Deputy Commissioner in charge of Corporate Affairs, Dr. Bosman Asari, is the one coming to answer the question. That was when he raised the objection, insisting that the standing orders of the House do not allow for deputy commissioners or deputies of institutions to appear before Parliament to answer questions, except the substantive heads of those institutions. There was a back and forth over that, and so he was insisting that Parliament, insist or sanction the commissioner herself to appear before the House to answer the question. The second deputy speaker, who was supervising the proceedings, Andre Mwakwesiama, then ruled that if that is the case, then the House will constitute itself into a committee of the whole in order to allow him to provide the answers. And so that's how the matter has been settled to allow him to appear before the House.
And James, there have been accusations of negligence and causing financial loss to the state, which were raised by several MPs. What was the Commission's response to that?
Top among the MPs who raised this is the Ashaman MP, Ernest Nogbe, who put this question to the Commissioner, and he insisted that there's not been any negligence of financial loss to the state, because even after all of these expenses, the Commission was able to organize the elections within the budget sanctioned by Parliament.
We did a national competitive tendering, and the CTRC came in because the threshold was more than that of the entity. The entity has a threshold of 1 million Ghana cedis. So anything beyond 1 million Ghana cedis, you have to get concurrent approval from the CTRC. So that's the main reason why we went to the CTRC. Thank you.
And the leakage cost the taxpayer 6 million Ghana cedis. Will you agree with me that this cost, this financial loss to the state, is a responsibility of the EC?
Yes, Deputy Commissioner. The Chairman, from the Commission standpoint, this is not a financial loss to the state. It's not a financial loss to the state, largely because when you look at the budget that was given to us, the Commission did not exceed, let me put it that way. But beyond that, please let me answer, beyond that, the procurement method we adopted as an institution, ensured that we were able to reduce the prices. So when you compare the cost of elections in Ghana now, in 2015, the country did the cost of election was almost $13 per voter. In 2020, we did $7.70 per voter. And in 2024, when we finish the process, we will likely do something like less than $4. So for the Electoral Commission, we believe that by ensuring that the process was credible, we needed to have the support of all the parties. So we think we did the right thing for the country. Thank you. Very well.
Right, James, and he's also maintained that there was no procurement breaches. Hello, James. Do I still have you on the line?
Yes, Ken. I was saying that was a part of the question, but he said the procurement process has gone through all the processes it needs to go through, although it was approved later after the contract was awarded. There's not been any breaches as far as they are concerned.
There was no breach of the procurement law. There was no breach. The commission wrote to the CTRC on 2nd December, and the elections were supposed to take place on 7th December. In the response by the CTRC, they indicated that we wrote to them on the 2nd of December. And before we printed the ballots, we wrote to the CTRC. So CTRC knew all the printing houses and the specific regions they were printing. So we didn't go to PPA. So it was only appropriate that when we had to redraw ballots for the eastern and central regions, we had to go back to the same organization that permitted us to engage these printing houses. So as far as we are concerned, there was no breach of the procurement law. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
James, I want to find out about the stalled Ablekuma North Parliament results. Any clear indication when that will finally be resolved, did he say?
Ken, there's still no clear indication. You remember that early May, when the commission met the Election Security Task Force, the IGP declared that they are ready and that the EC should give them a roadmap which will include the place and a date for the coalition to conclude. But surprisingly, the Deputy Commissioner indicated to Parliament that for some reason they are still waiting for the police to get a final communication from them before they move forward.
I think on the contrary, we think that the security agents should be able to do their job. and we've had several meetings with them. So we are hoping that they would, if they tell us that tomorrow they are ready, we are ready. If they write to the national security, the security task force, and they are unable to give them timelines to help them complete the collation exercise, what have they done in escalating this issue of police assistance to any higher authority beyond the security task force? Have they pegged it above the security task force so that we can get it done? Yes. We haven't escalated it beyond the police, because in my response I indicated the police said they were getting advice. So we are waiting for them to write to us based on the advice for us to proceed. So we haven't done any escalation. Mr. Chairman, we report to Parliament. I know until recently the Special Budget Committee, but now we know the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies. So we give it some time. If we are not getting any proper feedback, we'll write to the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies that this is what is happening. And we know that the police are there to serve all of us. And we believe that the Parliament should be able to invite them to explain why they are not doing what they are supposed to do. Thank you.
Right, you're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. Remember, you can join the conversation by sending us a WhatsApp or Telegram on the telephone number 055 997. And away from Parliament, this evening, the Coalition Against Illegal Mining is mounting blistering pressure on the government, demanding an immediate and full-scale investigation into an attack on the administrator of the Minerals Development Fund, Dr. Hannah Bisu, and her team. Well, the disturbing incident occurred on the 5th of June 2025 during an anti-illegal mining operation at a site in Bui Subunso in the Akomfre community in the Ashanti region. Well, the team came under fire from the very officers meant to uphold the law, including the district commander who attempted to block the commission's team from assessing the site. Well, speaking at a press briefing, coalition convener Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe issued a scathing demand. The police commander and all officers involved must be immediately investigated and prosecuted.
The recent near-fatal attack on Dr. Hannah Louisa Bisu following an illegal mining raid at Bui Sobenso, as reported widely in the media on June 5th, 2025, by armed thugs, is not an isolated incident. It is a symptom of the lawless epidemic within the mining zone. Gun-wielding gangs now operate with terrifying boldness, and if this government does not act decisively, no one is safe. This justifies our long-standing demand for a state of emergency in critical mining zones, enforced by military presence, drone surveillance, asset freezes, to propose just a few strategies. Illegal mining areas, in our estimation, appear to be a training ground for mercenaries that threaten the national security and stability of our democracy. Anything could have happened to Dr. Hannah Bisu, the journalists who were there that day. And to think, as to quote her, that machination was perpetuated by the police command, we ask that police commander be interdicted and investigated and punished. And when these punishments are done, the police should not just hide them under their police. They should let everybody know, so that the police would know that if they do wrong, they also would be punished.
That's the convener of the Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe. Well, my colleague Collins Frimpong was at the Coalition's press conference and joins me in the studio. Collins, we know already the position of the Coalition against the amendment of the LI 2462, which allows the president to permit mining in forest reserves. But this time, they have ignited a new call on it as the amendment matured into law today.
Yes, Ken. So it was the first thing that came up, and if you look at Article 11, Clause 7, it states clearly that after LI is laid before Parliament, the default period before it becomes law is 21 sitting days, unless it is announced by Parliament within that time. And based on this provision, the amendment of the LI 2462, in which they have vehemently campaigned against and also demand a total repeal, will be maturing into law after today. if Parliament do not annul it this evening. And the coalition sees this as a betrayal, given that President John Mahama, during his 120 days address, assured that once Parliament resumes from recess, the government will also table before the House the Minerals Act to completely ban mining in forest.
Concerning the ban on mining in forest reserves, on March 20th, 2025, a legislative instrument, LI 2462, was presented to Parliament to amend the Environmental Protection Mining in Forest Reserves Regulation. This amendment removes the President's power to grant approval for mining in forest reserves. I plan also to amend the Minerals and Mining Act 2003, Act 703, to completely prohibit mining in forest reserves. This would effectively, meticulously, legally, and entirely ban mining in our forest reserves.
Colin, so what's the latest on what the President just said?
Well, that has not been done by the government yet. So therefore, the coalition is urging President John Mahama to use his majority in Parliament to block the amendment, just a clause in the LI from becoming a law, or they go to court.
The government made a solemn vow to the people of Ghana that LI 2462, the legal instrument that opened our forest reserves to mining, will be revoked, not amended, but scrapped entirely. This was communicated through several public declarations by His Excellency the President himself before and after the 2024 elections, echoed by government officials, including the Minister of State for Government Communications, the Minister of Communications, and the CEO of the Gold Board on the 23rd of April 2025. In fact, as recently as 8th of May 2025, Professor Jerry S. Waikuma, Special Advisor to the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, equivocably stated, and I quote, "The President had listened to the concerns of the citizenry and the CSOs and has directed that the LI be revoked in its entirety." We are therefore disappointed that although the promise was made that the process to revoke LI would begin immediately Parliament resumes, however, to the best of our knowledge and belief, which was confirmed yesterday when members of the coalition met the chairperson of the subsidiary legislating committee, that there's no order of business of Parliament capturing this critical item. In our considered view, this demonstrates a lack of commitment by the government to carry out the revocation through. We will not accept an amendment that responds to the interests of certain individuals, not taking into account the interests of the nation. The LI 2462 must be revoked, and it's with urgency. If the President does not act, the Environmental Protection into bracket minerals in forest reserve, mining in forest reserves amendment regulation 2025 will mature and come into effect today.
Well, there's also been talks about prosecution of politicians involved in illegal mining. Tell us more.
Right. So during the press conference, they started with Akonta mining, and they commended the government for how they've handled the MPP's and Ashanti Regional Chairman Nchibu Esiako, Chairman Wuntumi, and that Yoko is investigating him. But they want two directors of Akonta mining also to be included in the investigation. Apart from that, early this year, MP for Owin Oscar Labi also came under fire for his involvement in illegal mining in the Owin municipality, to the point that the traditional council banned him from coming to the area. And also the coalition petitioned President John Mahama as well as the Speaker of Parliament within that particular period to investigate the MP, but that has not been done despite President Mahama acknowledging the petition. As a result of that, they are demanding that President Mahama should order an investigation into that particular matter, and as well as other two chairmen belonging to the NDC in the Azim as well as Dunkwao often.
We commend our plea and are pleased with government's move to arrest the director of Akonta Mining Limited, Mr. Bernard Nchibu Esiako, after the coalition's press release, which you, the media, published widely. It is crucial to complete this process by arresting and prosecuting all directors of Akonta Mining Limited. When the media coalition against Galamsey did the check, there are two directors of that company. They are the same beneficial owners as well. So those two directors should not only be arrested, but prosecution should happen. We have, however, observed and condemned resoundingly the alarming pattern of some officials from the ruling NDC being involved in illegal mining. After the unresolved case of Honorable Oscar Labi, MP for our win, we have a petition with His Excellency the President that he has acknowledged receipt of. New reports implicate the NDC constituency chairpersons in Axim and Dunkwao of being deeply involved in Galamsey operations. This hypocrisy is unacceptable. While the NDC leadership under His Excellency the President publicly condemn illegal mining, the Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources and IGP have demonstrated positive actions to deal with the scourge of Galamsey. However, some of their local officials allegedly profit from it. We demand, 1, that immediate investigations into the case of Honorable Oscar Labi, MP for our win, and the chiefs that have accused him that he has counter-accused. And these two chairpersons of Axim, constituency chairpersons of Axim and Dunkwao by the police and national security, ensuring complete transparency and no room for political protection.
Right, and on the Professor Frimpong Boaten's report, the group is calling for prosecution of those politicians captured in that particular report for their involvement in illegal mining.
Transparent prosecution with no political protection. We've heard the president say that he will not cover anybody. We've heard the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources say that there would be no, what do they normally call it, order from above, so far as this is concerned. We need to see that translated into action. We have given the names of 3 of those who are in the ruling government. We also have the directors of Akonta Mining Limited, one of whom was with the former government, and we have a plethora of a lot of them in the Frimpong Boate report who have all been implicated. You have the examples of Heritage Imperial who were giving either a prospecting lease, and they went into one of the forest reserves with over 30 excavators. That case is also available. So that you, the media, have a lot of named officials who have been implicated in Galamsey, and a lot of them are politically exposed.
Right, let's get onto the telephone line and speak to the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. Minister, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I believe you've heard of the attack that happened on the Minerals Commission Administrator. What is your ministry doing about this?
Well, first and foremost, let me say good evening to your cherished listeners. All the concerns that have been raised are concerns that are being dealt with by the government. One, the first one had to do with the petition against the sitting member of parliament, in which, if you listen to the press conference, the president or the presidency acknowledged receipt of the petition, and the necessary investigation are being done on the matter. So that is one point I want to make. The other one has to do with the people who they think that should be prosecuted. In this case, the constitution, the constituency chairman, and others. I don't think that you just go ahead to start prosecution. You need to do some investigation, that you know that we are on solid grounds for the purposes of prosecution. I don't think we just prosecute for prosecution's sake. Prosecution is meant, one,
right,
to achieve conviction, which will serve also as deterrent to others who may want to engage in it. Now, if you go ahead to prosecute without solid evidence, the court will just throw your case away. So I think that in as much as we can understand the concerns that have been expressed, this government is not willing under any circumstance to shield anybody who is engaged in this. And we have made this statement time and time again. All those who are engaged in such activities, directly or indirectly, once there is proper investigation and there is enough evidence for prosecution, the necessary prosecutions will be done.
Minister, the group has also raised concerns about the failure of this government to repeal the LI 2462 as the president promised. What is going to be done about it? Is it going to be repealed as it was promised, or?
Well, Ivan, first and foremost, the LI was brought into law by the previous administration. Hitherto, people were not allowed to mine in forest reserved areas. and then the previous administration, I guess sometime 2020 or 2021, came out with that LI, giving the president the privilege to authorize the Ministry of Lands and the appropriate, state agencies to give permit to people to mine in forest reserve areas. Everybody in this country knows why that particular law was made in the first place. It was for the Chinese company at that time to get into mining in forest reserve areas. His Excellency, so before we came into power, the civil society organizations and others were concerned about that LI. I don't think that entirely they are saying that the LI is not a good LI, but there were some aspects of it which they raised concerns, particularly the aspects of it which the president is given the opportunity or the privilege to authorize the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to give permit for people to mine in forest areas. So our understanding was to take care of that, in which we did. And today, the LI 2462 is now a law that His Excellency the President, demonstrating his commitment not to allow people to engage in such illegality, says, look, this is a privilege given to me. I'm not interested in that privilege. Take it away for the purpose of having decent, legally binding mining in this country.
Right.
And that was precisely what the President did.
Minister, so no total repeal?
Well, I think that the major issue that was raised, even so if we bring a new law today, it's most likely in the next 1 month, 2 months, people may have concerns about it. Those issues they have concerns about it are issues that and as a listening government, we can understand the concerns. I have shared platforms with my good brother, Dr. Kenneth, and I indicated that their concerns are concerns that we have to look at. But the truth be told, the major concern they had at the time was the authorization or the privilege the presidency had, to authorize people to go and mine in forest reserve areas, which we have taken away. I realized that there are some aspects of the existing law, excluding what has been repealed, that they still have problems with. And I can assure him and assure everybody that these are things government is considering seriously.
Minister, final one before you go. It appears that the fight against illegal mining is a long battle that we're going to fight for a long time, because Joy News has uncovered more than 30 excavators which are operating deep inside the Anyasu East Forest Reserve, which our reporter Erastus tells us has been ripping apart the protected land in Brazil illegal mining operation. Are you aware of this?
Even first and foremost, I need to thank your reporter and many other investigative journalists who are engaged in some of this. Even don't judge me by just my height. Judge me by the depth from which I began. From 2022, the previous administration took out all security agencies who were manning or who were, engaged in fighting galamsey in our area. This was an information we didn't know. 2022. So for 2 years, they had alacrity, brazenly engaged in it because there were no security agencies there. So when we came in, what we decided to do was to do proper investigation. And because we were not sleeping, the investigation revealed that 9 forest areas were completely taken over by armed wielding young men. We have freed all the 9 forest areas. And even as you do know that fighting galamsey, you need to engage everybody. And I have said time beyond number that it is not just about stopping galamsey, but one, reclaiming the lands that are destroyed by galamsey activities, cleaning the water bodies, which falls in line with the vision of His Excellency the President, the Blue Water Initiative, because you need to restore the water bodies. And also ensure that the reasons why young men are engaged in illegal mining are not. And those reasons are joblessness.
Okay.
How do we reclaim the land? And as a process of reclaiming the land, we create opportunity for young people by planting, if you like, commercially viable trees.
Right.
So it's a double-pronged thing, and that is why we have extensive engagement. We are engaging religious organizations, religious leaders, traditional authorities. We are engaging civil society organizations. And my good friend, Dr. Ken, will tell you that I have had several engagements with him. He has had several engagements with my brother, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. It's a serious fight, but it is very clear that government, means it. And if you look at the successes that we have chalked, I'm not saying that we should praise ourselves now. It's a very, very long fight, and we are very.
Minister, are we getting the assurance that you're going to conduct investigation into this particular incident?
Investigation that is ongoing by the appropriate state agency. Those issues that have been raised. So it is not about we are commencing investigation. There's already investigation that is being done by the appropriate state agencies in all the allegations that are made.
All right, Minister, thank you very much for your time tonight. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed is the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology, and also the Member of Parliament for Tamale Central. You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. I understand we have Daryl Bosu, who is the Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana. Daryl, you've been listening to the conversation, but I want to find out from you, why did the coalition wait until the final day for the amended LI to mature into law before calling on the president to act?
Good evening to you as well, and good evening to listeners. I must say that the coalition did not rest, and the coalition has not been resting. We have right from the beginning and trying to engage the presidency, also the Ministry of Lands, as well as the Honorable Minister of Environment. But it's a matter of the government not really within the period of 21 days not coming back to us to tell us that this is what we want to do and we even want to listen to what you are doing. So I think getting the government to listen to the concerns. We sent petitions right after when they laid the amendment bill in Parliament to the presidency as well and all of that. But we really didn't get the opportunity to get and engage with government. It was only yesterday that we were given a call, an urgent call, to come and meet with the chairperson of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. But even at the point, we know that the lost cause because the process was already at the termination point. So I think we did whatever we could, and that is why we are saying that the ministry did not give us sufficient hearing to even inform the bill that was laid before Parliament. If you recall, the previous administration, yes, indeed, has the LI, but they also almost took steps to repeal the LI in its entirety.
Right. Daryl, the minister has been providing some updates. Are you satisfied with the explanation that he gave tonight?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that we are really going to engage them and ensure that the right thing is done. Just repealing or just amending Regulation 3.2, 3B of LI 2462 will not solve them. It only guarantees protection for just about 10% of Ghana's forests, leaving 90% of Ghana's forests still vulnerable to mining.
Right.
So to really say that you're taking away the president's power to allow money in certain areas, but lose a lot of other forest reserve exposed for us to solve the problem.
Daryl Bosu is the Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana. Thank you very much for your time. It's now time for business, and George Riafe is here with the latest. George, what's up in business?
Well, coming up, oil marketing companies drop fuel prices at the pumps again as some major players respond to market competition. And Africa World Airlines expand operations to Ouagadougou from July 1 this year as it moves to consolidate presence in the West African region. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, Sinter's tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper, so you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Kojo, is everything all right?
Everything is not all right. I'm not seeing Topo. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no.
But I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look, the video freezes again.
By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband. From the Internet Masters.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST Campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Brush your teeth every day and night. Up and down and all around. Brush your teeth and bright. Brush your teeth. Brush with mom and dad. Underneath and in between. Brush the germs away.
Pepsodent, cavity protection.
For 10 times stronger.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, dear Niham Sa. And you stay soft concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. Just send this say be you met na wache. Niham it's na wache. No bia baby some was some demoni ni na say. Dear Niham say. Fair quiet yesim biara association Ontario. Use stay soft and Niham it's na wache. Nani boss to tap from cra. A fabric softener. And ye near say sir. Choose to stay soft. No who so say no. FDID a dreading crowd to yatu.
Sasso, c'est pour me tonton frère. Sasso, c'est pour me tonton frère. Edrana drumming your possession. Yeah, how can see all in malaria? Minya me corn and miss a so spray. Every mosquito study run away. Come on, tonton frère. Sasso, mi se come tonton frère. Come on, tonton frère. Sasso, come tonton frère. Nani sham ne die e demo strong.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, some major oil marketing companies have started reducing prices of petroleum products at the pumps again. The move Joy Business understands is in response to market competition. There is more in this report.
The reduction Joy Business understands has more to do with some of the major players responding to market competition, or what some may describe as price war. Market leader Star Oil this morning, June 19, 2025, announced that it has dropped the price of petrol further to 10 cedis, 80 pesos per litre. Diesel has also gone down further to 12 cedis, 13 pesos. Another player, Allied Joy Business, is learning that will also drop its prices further, but this is effective June 20, 2025. Allied, for instance, on June 16, 2025, was selling a litre at 10 cedis, 97 pesos. However, based on what we have picked up, a litre of petrol will be selling at 10 cedis, 75 pesos per litre. One marketing firm, Zen Petroleum, has also dropped the price of petrol and it's selling at 10 cedis, 75 pesos. A careful look at the prices has showed that the price of diesel has gone up marginally since June 16. Some of the oil marketing companies have, however, told Joy Business that prices could be going up from July 1, 2025 if current war between Israel and Iran in the Middle East does not cease soon. Since the beginning of the war, crude oil prices have jumped from $66 a barrel to about $76 a barrel.
And that's the Business Desk report. Now, the economy may end the year doing better than the 4% projection by government. Now, that's the view of government statistician Dr. Hassan Idrisu. This is coming after the economy grew by 5.3% for the first 3 months of this year. Government statistician says that hitting this target will be dependent on government sticking to the current fiscal consolidation program.
If you look at government policies for 2025, one of the biggest policy government is driving is what we call the Big Push program or Big Push initiative agenda, where infrastructure investment in roads, in energy, in transportation, and in other sectors are currently being rolled out. So with the drive to ensure that there is improvement in efficiency in spending and also targeted spending in terms of development spending. So I think to answer your question, I would say that, and also that it's not only the Big Push program that is currently being rolled out, there's also the 24-hour economy is also currently being rolled out. And so depending upon how effective the execution is, that could also bode well for the growth in the coming sectors. So in summary, depending upon how effective government is able to implement its growth-oriented initiatives.
And that is government statistician Dr. Hassan there. Now, Africa World Airlines has announced that it will commence scheduled flights to Ouagadougou, the capital city of Burkina Faso, from July 1, 2025. Now, this was captured in a notice released on the airline's social media platform. There is more in this report.
Africa World in the notice revealed that the move is part of measures aimed at providing reliable air travel and also make it the preferred carrier in the West African sub-region. Africa World currently flies Lagos and Abuja in Nigeria, Monrovia in Liberia, as well as Freetown in Sierra Leone. From July 1, the number of countries that it serves in the West African sub-region will increase to 4. The airline has also announced that it is working to expand its operations to Côte d'Ivoire soon, with the dream of connecting Africa with the rest of the world. Some industry analysts have argued that connecting flights within the West African sub-region is very expensive and difficult. Therefore, the CV's new services from Africa World as helping to deal with the challenge.
And that is a Business Desk report. Let's still look at some other stories. Of course, and Go PLC has said is working to increase dividend for its shareholders in the coming years. The company maintains its dividend for the third time after reporting a profit after tax of 85 million Ghana cedis. Let's hear the acting chief executive of the group, Edward Bauer.
In the course of the discussion, that if you look at particularly our short-term borrowings, that is the ODs, that is the overdrafts that we have, so huge, but that is what has led to a very high financing cost. One of the strategies is to see how we can look for rather patient capital to be able to increase in terms of our working capital to really be able to do that. And indeed, you would have realized that if you were to go back on the stock exchange now, you see year on year, first quarter for 2025, you see that one, we have reduced cost, and two, in terms of our profits, we have made some level of marginal increase. So that basically, that's what we are going to continue with.
And that is the group chief executive of God, that is Edward Bauer. Let's look at other stories. Fidelity Bank Ghana has opened its Wheels on Home promotion, that is Expo, filled with the gab of challenges faced by home and vehicle owners in acquiring new assets. According to the bank, this will support the quest by many to upgrade their lifestyle. Divisional Director of Retail and Business Banking at Fidelity Bank, Nana Esi Aiden Arkis, explained that the platform would also give opportunity to dealers in vehicles to interact with the potential customers.
He saw the opportunity in this challenge and said, we want to create a platform that brings everybody together, us as a bank, together with the vendors in the space, insurance companies, and then provide a seamless platform and opportunity for our customers to come and have the opportunity to identify vehicles and homes of their choice, and on the spot provide the financing and special deals and offers for them and make their life simpler, because owning a home or owning a vehicle that gives you mobility is not just an issue of personal preference or choice. It has implications for family stability.
Divisional Director for Retail and Business Banking at Fidelity Bank Ghana, Nana Esi Aiden Arkis. And that's all for business on Newsnight. And tonight on PM Express Business Edition, we're bringing you the response of businesses to the development in the economy and how businesses are responding to the recovering economy at 9 p.m. on Joy News.
Well, in sports, we'll bringing you the latest in the camp of Kumasi and Toko, who have given a strongest indication about their plans for a major overhaul of their playing squad following the FA Cup triumph over Golden Kicks. Now, the club says the changes are aimed at building a more competitive team ahead of their return to the CAF Confederations Cup next season. Already, the club has announced the departure of Captain Frederick Asari, and more is expected to follow. Here is the club spokesperson, lawyer Safo Duku. Lawyer Safuduku there with the latest in the camp of Kotoko. Well, Ken, that's all we have for you. The Club World Cup is still happening, and we'll see some teams haven't started well. Real Madrid couldn't win yesterday, but Man City did, and Chelsea will also play in the coming days, their next game.
I was about to ask, where's your beloved Chelsea?
Yeah, they're in the competition. They won their first game, so they're getting ready for their next game now.
I wish them the best of luck. Thank you very much, Ms. Val, for bringing us sports. And the Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has revealed that Fred Kwarteng, the man at the center of an alleged visa scam at Ghana's embassy in Washington, D.C., siphoned over $4.8 million annually through a sophisticated scheme enabled by senior embassy officials. Now, addressing Parliament yesterday, the minister detailed how Kwarteng, with the help of accomplices within the embassy, manipulated the visa application and issuance process, diverting funds and leaving hundreds of applicants there. Let's speak to Ghana's former ambassador to Washington, Hajia Alima Mahama, who has been an ambassador during the time Fred Kwarteng was working at the embassy. Ambassador, welcome to the program. I mean, Okudzeto-Ablakwa has raised several concerns. One of them is that he's surprised that Fred Kwarteng was able to work there for that long time without being questioned or caught. What happened when you were there?
Yes, that's quite a serious allegation. I started there June 2021, and Fred Kwarteng was there providing courier service for applicants who had applied for visas or passports. He's been doing that job. Yes. And he's been with the embassy in and out since 2013. He started this courier job in 2019. In 2023, I decided to make it formal by giving him a contract, or more or less a memorandum of understanding, by a contract. And I want to focus on the contract in my interaction with you. The contract simply provided that the company, is a Ghana travel company, will ensure that applicants receive their documents in a secure and timely manner.
Ambassador, sorry to cut you, but is that to say that all that Fred Kwarteng did was not illegal?
I'm talking to the contract and to say that the contract that I gave him, there is nothing illegal or criminality about that. If the minister has indicated that he's going to conduct an investigation, as a minister, when you come on board, you want to investigate, assess certain things, and take your own decisions and restructure. I have no problem with that. He can do his investigation, whatever is discussed, whatever he finds out, the report will be out, and they will deal with that. But I want to talk to the contract that I signed with the company, because he indicated in Parliament that contract that I gave in January 2023 sought to legitimize palpable wrong. And I want to focus on the contract. That's why I've sent a copy of the contract to you to read.
Briefly.
And the contract simply only said Ghana is recognizing the company to pick up both American and Ghana passports, and they're mailing them back to owners. They will ensure that applicants receive their documents in a secure and timely manner. And they take full responsibility for any undeliverable package. And they will also resolve any postal services undeliverable issues that arise. And furthermore, we stated that the company will not receive any payment from the Embassy of Ghana for this service. Payment will be made by the applicants who are requesting travel visa or passport for that matter. And there's an indemnity clause that says that the company agrees to indemnify and hold Ghana Embassy harmless from all claims, losses, expenses, any fees, costs, judgment. So those were the trust of the contract. And this was because over the period we had issues, the embassy had issues with delivering passports. Sometimes the addresses went wrong.
Right.
Sometimes they got tracked up somewhere.
Ambassador, do you think this investigation will exonerate you?
Me in particular?
Yes.
Of course, I've not done anything wrong. I was a minister here. I've never involved myself in any kind of any deal. Will I go to America and start doing this? That even sounds strange to me.
Okay.
But I just want you to look at the contract and focus on the contract and let Ghanaians know that this contract, there is no bearing on any of the things that he said.
Right. Ambassador, thank you very much. That's the former Ghana ambassador to the United States, Hajia Aliba Mahama. And that's how we end Newsnight tonight. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi, thank you very much for listening.